shocking turn of events. A Medina man who claimed to be a missing teen is not who he said he is. His brother offers a possible explanation to Channel 3 News. Also, bad check? The accusations against a convicted sex offender who tried to donate $500,000 to a local school district. Movie Macek, a story 9 years in the making. Two local filmmakers share their passion as they debut their life's work at the Cleveland International Film Festival. And oh so close, Trevor Bauer and the Indians bullpen take a no-hitter into the 9th inning. Jimmy shows us the highlights. Good evening and welcome to Channel 3 News at 11.
History almost made in tonight's Tribe game. Jim, we're going to check in with you on that soon, and Betsy in just a few minutes.
All that coming up, but we begin with a bizarre story making national headlines.
Police in Kentucky say a man from Medina claimed he was the Chicago area boy who went missing 7 years ago. Channel 3's Manny Abraham is live in Medina now with the latest. Hi, Manny.
Hi, good evening, Russ and Sarah. Jonathan Rennie, who we spoke to, says his brother had several run-ins with the law, most recently serving time in prison for burglary and vandalism. When he learned about the news of his brother, he says he was not surprised.
I hope he gets help. I also hope he goes to prison for this, or at least an institution.
Jonathan Rennie claims his brother Brian suffers from several mental illnesses and has a lengthy criminal history. A search into records in Medina County shows a list of charges Brian Rennie has faced over the years, including fraud, passing bad checks, and most recently serving time in prison for burglary and vandalism for hosting a party and damaging a home in Brunswick Hills Township. At one point, he reportedly used his brother Jonathan's identity during a traffic stop.
Once he started using my name for things he was doing, I have no compassion for him whatsoever.
Brian was released from prison in March, but is now making headlines when he claimed he was Timothy Pitson, who had escaped his kidnappers.
So we had this child who said he ran away. He said he was kidnapped. Last name is Pitson, P-I-T-Z-E-N.
Pitson disappeared around the time his mother had committed suicide. She left a note with a message that her 6-year-old son was fine and that no one would ever find him.
Who's knocking on my door?
Pitson's family held on to hope that he would be found, but today marked another dead end.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
It's like reliving that day all over again.
Now the question is why? Why would Brian Rennie use the boy's identity and make the claim that he had escaped his kidnappers? His brother Jonathan doesn't have the answer, but he does have a message for him.
I tell him he's going down a dark road.
And Jonathan had another message for the family left with disappointment.
I tell the family that I'm sorry for what he's done, but for him, I wouldn't even speak to him.
At this point, no word on charges that Brian Rennie could face or the motive behind his claim. Now, police say they are disappointed of this hoax, but they say they will continue their search for Timothy Pitson. If anything, this has certainly shed some light back into that missing persons case. In Medina, I'm Manny Abraham, Channel 3 News.
You certainly feel for that missing boy's family tonight. Thanks, Manny.
A Ravenna businessman is locked up this evening on charges he wrote a huge but worthless check to a local business. And that's not all. He's also a convicted sex offender who the investigator Tom Meyer tells us pledged $500,000 to reportedly buy naming rights to a school district's athletic complex.
Businessman Edward Frost pledged $500,000 to Cardinal schools in Geauga County through its booster organization, Husky Nation Foundation. It's believed to be the largest gift ever to the district by one individual. To show its gratitude, Cardinal was expected to give Frost naming rights to the school district's proposed new athletic facility. But parents and prosecutors quickly raised concern after learning his name is already registered with the county sheriff.
He has an extensive criminal history. He's a convicted sex offender.
Frost was locked up after pleading guilty to illegal sexual conduct with a child and being labeled a Tier 1 sex offender. But that's not the only felony he's been convicted of.
I see an aggravated theft in 09, felony for theft in 14, probation violation in 18. Also a multi-state offender.
Frost is in trouble again on charges he wrote a worthless $2.5 million check for a deal unrelated to the schools.
The allegation is that he provided this $2.5 million check, and at the time, his account only had $25,000 in it approximately. And then the account was subsequently closed 4 days after the check was issued.
Prosecutors fear this isn't the first time Frost has passed a bad check.
We're concerned that there's more victims out there, and if there are more victims, which we believe there are, we want them to contact the sheriff's office.
We reached out to a lawyer representing Frost, but phone calls were not returned. The interim superintendent called the whole situation very disappointing, and the Boosters organization said Frost will not be getting naming rights, adding he's in no position to be donating money to anyone. I'm the investigator, Tom Meyer.
New tonight, one of the men involved in the Mr. Cars dealership murders took the stand in the trial of Joseph McAlpin. Andrew Keener accepted a plea deal. McAlpin is accused of killing Mike and Trina Kuznick and is representing himself. Today, he cross-examined Keener about the lies he made to police. Let's hear that now. By the way, the judge required us to disguise Keener's voice.
So I ask again, when do we know if you're lying? When do we know if you're telling the truth? How can we distinguish that to understand that, hey, Keener is lying or Keener is telling the truth? What is it? Is it a signal or a sign?
Right now, I'm telling the truth.
How do we know that?
I don't got no reason to lie.
You didn't have no reason to lie in the beginning.
I did. I was scared.
Scared of what?
You.
Why was you scared of me?
And your family.
Why was you scared of my family?
Because if you just did those innocent people like that, you will do somebody else like that.
Keener pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter and grand theft as part of his plea deal. Again, McAlpin's charges include aggravated murder, kidnapping, and cruelty to animals. Jerome Diggs Jr. is also facing charges in the case.
The Aliana Alert bill will become law tomorrow. It's named after Aliana DeFries, who was murdered in 2017. The 14-year-old was on her way to school in Cleveland when Christopher Whitaker kidnapped and killed her. Aliana's family says they weren't notified until afternoon. She never made it to class. The new law will require schools to alert parents if their child hasn't shown up for school within 2 hours. Today, her dad, Damien, thanked everyone who helped with the legislation.
This bill, I hope everyone realizes the impact that this has. Aliana is cemented in our lives and our hearts forever, but now she's submitted by law.
He added he knows this bill will save lives, and he wants parents to do their part as well, checking in on their kids after they leave for school. Aliana would have turned 17 in June.
I said, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to run for president of the United States.
Ohio Congressman Tim Ryan made it official today, announcing his run for the White House on ABC's The View. Ryan represents the 13th congressional district, which covers a portion of Mahoning County and pieces of nearby counties. He joins at least 16 other Democrats currently in the race. He'll hold a campaign kickoff rally Saturday in Youngstown. Tonight, the fight over prescription prices takes a turn. We'll tell you which insurance company is making insulin more affordable.
And hear from the local filmmakers who will debut their life's work at the Cleveland International Film Festival.
Betsy, it is Friday Eve.
It is Friday Eve, thank goodness, and I have even better news. The northeast wind that we are still dealing with, that's keeping us cool, is going to back off. That means warmer weather is headed our way. Get the weekend forecast straight ahead.
Channel 3 News at 11 is brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Welcome back. Good news now for some people with diabetes. Fortune magazine says the insurance company Cigna is trying to make insulin more affordable.
It will cap some patients' out-of-pocket cost to $25 for a 30-day supply of insulin. This comes in the wake of the mounting cost of drugs, particularly for insulin.
The 43rd Cleveland International Film Festival is well underway, and this year it features films from 71 different countries.
But there's also a focus on homegrown talent. The Local Heroes competition features films made about Ohio, in Ohio, or by Ohioans.
And Lindsey Buckingham got a preview of one documentary from 2 Shaker Heights natives making its world premiere tomorrow night.
We're not on TV. There's no financial gain. It's really only glory. It took us about a month to realize we just needed to make the film.
Had I known it would take 9 years, I don't know if I would have gotten involved.
It's been a long road for Shaker Heights natives Phil Kibbe and Ben Sachs. But tomorrow night, their unique documentary, Float, makes its world premiere at the Cleveland International Film Festival, a first for both.
Oh, I didn't know it directing that either.
It's been kind of like film school for us in a way.
Float offers a beautiful glimpse into the world of competitive model aviation. Most of the flyers aren't doing it for a big reward. That's because there isn't one. You see, building an F1D takes a lot of patience and pure love for this rare sport.
This has been described as a mixture of arts, science, and technique. Would you say that's accurate?
It's an art form because these planes are built by hand. It's a technique that takes a long time to develop.
At the end of the day, it's an underdog story in a lot of ways. A young flyer pitted against a new flyer.
The festival's artistic director says the film was an early and easy choice.
What really grasped you into selecting it for the film festival?
Really loved it. I loved watching it. It's a beautiful film to see. It was one of the first films that we confirmed for this year's festival.
The film inspired by Ben's own experience competing and building F1D model planes.
Every single thing on this plane serves a purpose, and it's designed to be as light as possible.
Filming took them across the world.
Filmed in Argentina and Japan, in a lot of places in Europe, in Romania and Serbia at the World Championships, and then in a lot of places in the United States.
Then back home to Cleveland, an unknown hub for the sport.
The first contest we filmed was at Kent State University.
Cleveland definitely is a stronghold for it.
The Flyers are standing on their own right now, but Phil says it's time to soar this sport into the spotlight.
This hobby's totally punk rock. These guys are going out and doing something that nobody's ever heard of and isn't popular.
You have to be very, very gentle.
At the same time, I think the hobby does need to get some attention in order to survive.
And let it go.
If this got some younger folks to start doing it, I think that would be the best outcome you possibly hope for.
At its heart, Float is a universal story of competition, hard work, and the desire to succeed in your own passion.
Because that's part of what the festival really is about. It's about the passion. A story of people and things that you didn't know. Beautiful cinematography. Filmmakers from Cleveland.
If somebody knows nothing about airplanes or about physics, they could watch this movie and be inspired to become the next world champion in whatever they want to be.
Ready for takeoff in the place they call home.
I'm very glad to be back in Cleveland and to be premiering at the Cleveland Film Festival and all that, because this did start here. This is where we grew up.
I couldn't be happier to bring the film home to our home audience to see it for the first time.
In Cleveland, Lindsay Buckingham, Channel 3 News.
Shaker Heights represents. Float is set for 3 screenings this weekend, so be sure to head to WKYC.com for more information.
Love the film festival. This weekend, though, might be too nice to be inside watching movies, Betsy.
I gotta tell you, we are primed, right? Everybody is waiting for this to happen. It better happen. We have temperatures that are going to be considerably warmer as we go through the weekend. So another touch of spring is coming in. We saw some daffodils coming up in our neighbor's yard. So things are springing out there. Rain showers will be around to start the day tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the 40s and we'll push into the 50s for the afternoon. Mostly cloudy skies will be the rule. We cannot rule out renegade showers from time to time, but the radar has been greening up over the last couple of hours. We do have scattered rain showers farther south. And you can't help but see the big pink over here. We do have a chance that there could be some flakes mixing in with some showers that are moving throughout areas around Geneva and Geneva on the Lake, headed up to Ashtabula through Jefferson at this point, over toward Kingsville and Conneaut. You may end up getting in on that. But the temperatures are warm enough. I think, if anything, it would be just a random snowflake that's kind of tucked in with a heavier shower. So this is basically the radar algorithms going, it looks like we could have that going on. And so it just kind of paints it in that pink color. Farther to the south, that's not the issue at all. We have these scattered rain showers around. This is indicating the darker greens and even a couple little yellow blips over there by Minerva, where we do indeed have the chances for some heavier showers. All of this, though, is still on the overall light side, so this is not even enough really to turn your windshield wipers on all that much, but just a scattered shower chance continues out farther to the west. Let's expand the picture, talk about the bigger system, because this is what's headed our way for the day tomorrow. You can't help but see this big swirl that is going on in Kentucky and Tennessee. The other part of this is that everything is lifting to the northeast. That is a big key in our forecast. Number one, it locks us in with rain for the day tomorrow, but it's also going to help to turn the winds. The last 48 hours, we've talked a lot about wind. Anytime that wind comes in off the lake, that's a cooling wind for us at this time of the year. But overnight, the winds go easterly and then eventually southeasterly. And what that southeasterly wind will bring in is warmer air. And that's why tomorrow we should be able to boost into the 50s. Let's go hour by hour, talking those rain showers for the start of the day tomorrow. And by 7 a.m., I think the temperatures will be in the low 40s and we'll have that southeasterly wind. It'll be a little breezy at times, but not overly windy. We'll have temperatures that are making it well into the 50s, even close to 60 degrees in some spots by noon, 1 o'clock. Still a scattered shower chance, so if you do have lunch plans out and about, you may need to grab the umbrella. We may kick it up a little bit with some heavier showers passing through around rush hour out to the east, but for the most part, I think we'll be dry. A southeast wind should help to propel those temperatures up to about 60 or so. I think we will have enough of a wind that will hold the lake breeze kind of at bay, but we can't help but think that maybe the immediate lakeshore area could cool off in the afternoon. And then by the evening, you can see our northeasterly winds come back, and that will cool things off. So I think hopefully we're looking at 55 for the start of the game. It all depends on the wind direction. For now, that south-southeasterly wind will be prevalent, but as the game goes on, I'm afraid that north wind will be blowing in and cooling things off. Here's your Universal Windows Direct forecast. 57 tomorrow. How's 61 sound for Saturday? I like 70 on Sunday a lot better, with the shower chances holding off till evening. We'll carry the rain into Monday. We'll cool it off for next week, right back into the more typical type temperaters for this time of the year.
I've been noticing the daffodils in my yard as well.
They've
not opened up yet, but they're climbing.
They're peeping up.
I feel left out. No daffodils in my neighborhood yet.
Just some hyacinths.
That too, yes. Thank you so much, Betsy. Tonight, we'll have 3 things you'll need to watch out for tomorrow.
Plus, Trevor Bauer was so close to a no-hitter. Was he upset about being pulled? We'll hear from him next.
Hey everyone, Senator Kamala Harris is my guest tonight. Plus, from Barry, Henry Winkler stopped by, and I'll be chatting with Conleth Hill about the final season of Game of Thrones. Don't miss it tonight on Late Night.
Hey guys, Elle Fanning is here tonight, but we have Kit Harington. Music from Khalid. It's a great show. Do not change the channel, everybody.
The Sports Report is brought to you by the people-pleasing people at Sarah Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. What a night over at Progressive Field. The Indians and Blue Jays with just over 10,000 on a cool, damp night. Trevor Bauer was unhittable, but came out of the game pitching a no-hitter. The Indians bullpen helped him out until the 9th when the no-hitter went by the boards. But Bauer was in trouble in the 3rd inning. Bases loaded, nobody out, 2 strikeouts and a fly ball, and he got out of it. But the problem was his pitch count kept going higher and higher. Now the Indians finally get on the board. Greg Allen grounds into a fielder's choice. Jake Bauer scores 1-0 Indians. In the 7th inning, Bauer strikes out the side. But now he's at 117 pitches, and Tito Francona says that's enough. So they hand it over to the bullpen. Brad Hand, in the 9th inning, gives up a base hit, so the no-hitter goes by the board. Freddie Galvis got the hit. They got 2 more hits. The no-hitter was over, but the Indians win the game 4-1. Now, Bauer never wanted to hide his feelings. We were all anxious. Was he ticked off about being taken out?
I knew it was probably time to come out. That being said, I think my velo was higher in the last inning probably than all innings. I could be wrong on that, but it definitely didn't drop off at all. My stuff was sharp. So, yeah, had I gone back out, I feel like I would have gotten it too.
So he thinks he would have pitched the no-hitter. Now, he was sensational. But when you strike out a lot of batters and he walks 6 batters, that drives your pitch count up. And remember, it's early in the season. It was a tough decision for Terry Francona.
You know what? I didn't want to take him out. And he said he knew it was the right thing. I told him I hate it, and he goes, I hate it too, but I know it's the right thing. I care too much about him and this organization to hurt somebody.
To be honest, I don't really care about a no-hitter or not. I care about putting up zeros for the team and winning. Care about coming out to the ballpark, seeing the fans, seeing the people of Cleveland.
Now, how about this? Go back to 2015. He was involved in a combined no-hitter attempt, too. In Houston, he pitched 6 innings that game, and he had 11 strikeouts. And then, with 1 out in the 9th inning, they were 2 outs away. Nick Hagedorn gave up a home run to Jed Lowry, but the Indians won the game 5-1. Game 2 of the series tomorrow night. Note the start time, different from tonight. 7:10, Shane Bieber gets his first start of the season. Jason Kipnis, good news. He went down to Columbus after fielding ground balls at Progressive Field before tonight's game. He'll play for the Clippers in a rehab assignment coming up tomorrow. The Cavs are out in Sacramento right now, down by 9. This is one of 4 games left to go in the regular season. Colin Sexton under a minute to go, first quarter. Sexton hit a 3 right here. The Cavs were down 7 at the end of the quarter. Second quarter, Bogdan Bogdanovic hit a catch-and-shoot 3, and they were down 6 at the half. They're down 9 right now, 68-59. They play the Warriors at Golden State tomorrow. Good luck to David Griffin, Cavs' great GM, who was here for the championship run. He's been out of a job since not getting a contract from the Cavs. He interviewed in New Orleans, though, to be the Pelicans GM. And for the Browns right now, getting ready for the NFL draft in a couple of weeks with no pick, of course, in the first round, a pick in the second round, and then in the third they get busy too. Now, when the rounds go on, the NFL has players on the team announce the draft pick, and linebacker Christian Kirksey will get that honor. He'll announce the Browns' third-round pick on the Friday night of the draft. Kirksey was selected in the third round out of the University of Iowa. And here's hoping for a healthy season from him. He lost a lot of time last year because of an injury. What a night tonight, though. That was really something.
Didn't have bowling or golf tonight, but other than that, you were all covered.
I know. We were there.
All right. Thank you so much, Jimmy.
You got it.
We're back with 3 things to watch. Here are 3 things to watch for tomorrow. RTA will unveil its new entrance at the East 105th and Quincy Street Red Line station. ODOT gave RTA more than $3 million to build a second entrance and extend rail platforms. That'll begin at 10:30.
There will be a free mobile clinic at Ashtabula Town Square Mall. They'll provide free dental, vision, and medical care to those in need. It runs through Sunday.
And the new Catholic Charities Outreach Center will open in Akron. Bishop Perez will bless the center, which will house intensive outpatient counseling and recovery coach services. That begins at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning.
And Betsy, some good stuff on the way over the next few days.
I think we have to deal with some spring showers, but you know, this is just like winter. In December, the snow is festive and nice. Since it's April, we expect April showers.
That's right.
So
flowers,
festive rain. Yes, this is how we celebrate, darn it.
We like it. No bowling news, breaking bowling news.
I'm lost in her lyrical description right there. Whatever you're saying to me sounds like French, and I flunked that.
Oh.
Channel 3 News today begins at 4 a.m.
Have a great night. Tomorrow's Friday.
Thank you for watching Channel 3 News at 11 p.m., the most watched 11 p.m. newscast in Northeast Ohio.